Supremacists love to get their opponents to waste their time. Running in circles, doing piecemeal efforts in Nepal or the Amazon, that's meaningless. The entire world has fallen under the satanic sway of an evil system, a system that rests comfortably on the backs of black people in the US. So long as we remain underneath this evil, the best that the world can hope for are minor cosmetic changes. A black celebrity here or the occasional black president there, but these are distinctions without a difference because it doesn't change the balance of power, and the balance of power is based on resources. We don't need different optics, we need a different status quo. If you destabilize the foundation of this evil system of racial hierarchy, then the entire system will fall because there will be nothing to hold it up. The problem is that too many people, including a lot of non-white ones, have been eating very well off of this system of anti-black racism. Anti-black racism has given them a comfortable lifestyle, so they're invested in perpetuating it. They see their interests as being aligned with the white powers that be. So when you talk about toppling white supremacy, these sock puppets for white supremacy will feel threatened because they understand that they depend on massa for every crumb of their daily bread. Massa feeds them now. Sure, he doesn't feed them as well as he does those classified as white, but at least he throws them the occasional crumb, and for them that's enough. Pets don't ask for much. That's not justice, that's cronyism and nepotism. They know that if black people bring down this system and institute a system of justice, then we're not going to feed them. They will have to actually earn their daily bread. Take a look at the bootlicks who have tried to reinvent themselves without the largesse they receive from the dominant society. They've shriveled up and blown away. So make no mistake, white supremacists understand that they have to cultivate and sustain a multitude of agents and operatives if white supremacy is going to last. The bootlicks will give them rhetorical cover by claiming white supremacy either doesn't exist, this is what the black conservative claims, or if it does, it's not as bad as that, this is what the black liberal claims. Both the black liberal and the black conservative agree on the lie that things are better now than they were before. So no matter which bootlick you choose to believe, the one on Massa's left hand or the one on his right, it's still the same puppet show spouting the same lies. And some of the biggest lies they've told have been about black people's icons, trying to derange and distort and pervert our symbols, because symbols are a unifying principle. You can have people following the teachings and following the philosophy of Dr. King decades after the man's assassination. The man's not here anymore, but you got people who are still trying to follow it. But the problem is they're attempting to follow a false, counterfeit distortion of Dr. King, one that's the exact opposite of the real man, one presented to them by their oppressors. Now, the things that we say here doesn't tickle people's ears and it doesn't please everyone, but it's not meant to. The demands of power are not meant to make you smile, they're meant to make you strong. Controlling your own destiny is not necessarily meant to give you pleasure. What it's supposed to give you is power. A lot of people have disagreed mightily with the things that we've said over the last 15 years, especially when it came time to talk about the 2016 and 2020 elections. People didn't want to believe that Donald Trump could win, but we told them that he could and that he would. People didn't want to believe in 2020 that once Joe Biden won the election that he was going to immediately turn his back on black people, and you would be surprised how much the Biden administration would closely resemble the Trump administration. People didn't want to believe that. They wanted to believe that you could actually get something without making a demand, that you could trust a man whose entire life has been spent spitting in black people's faces. People didn't want to hear that, so a large number of them ignored it. Well, who has history borne out? You cannot be childish and capricious and think that you will also have power. You cannot decide that you're going to plug your ears to anything that you don't like hearing and think that you're going to be in control. It doesn't work that way. Nor can we decide that we're going to water down the message or dilute it or try to amalgamate it so that it appeals to every Tom, Dick, and Harry, Jane, Sue, and Mary. That's not what black empowerment's about. Too many times black people have found themselves confronted with a choice of what do you do to make sure that you take a step closer to power. And when that decision involves being unpopular or saying something that doesn't tickle people's ears, black people tend to shy away. Well, that's not what we're about. The new voices of black media, we know better, so we're doing better. We're not like the Elder Michauds, or the Roly-Poly Martins, or the Joy Reids, or the rest of the fakers, frauds, phonies, fools, sellouts, suck-ups, and simps. For 500 years, the world has become completely and thoroughly accustomed to a status quo where black people are the underclass, and that's that. And not only are black people not able to change it necessarily, but in many cases, black people just don't even say that that's the situation they're in. To a large degree, we have allowed the society to pretend as if it's made progress when it really hasn't. But then again, that's not entirely our fault. The dominant society has sent in whole armies of rhetoricians and a whole bunch of paid agents to tell us that we're making great strides when the truth of the matter was they were barely baby steps, if that. The white media with their black bootlicks have preached a non-stop gospel of, well, as black people, we need to make sure that we don't ruffle any feathers, and we need to make sure that nobody disapproves of us, because if they do, well, we're disrupting the racial harmony, so you need to suffer in silence so that nobody looks at you and says, hey, you're making no noise about things, you're making a stink, you gotta stop it. This is the societal role that the white media has tried to program us with, and which a whole bunch of people in the society, particularly the political class, have beaten us over the head with relentlessly and told us this is our place and this is what we're supposed to do because it's what Dr. King would do. Well, we're not going to listen to any lies. We're going to tell the truth, as he would want us to, and we're going to tell the truth the way that he did, no matter who doesn't like it.
Cowardice asks the question, is it safe? Expediency asks the question, is it politic? Vanity asks the question, is it popular? But conscience asks the question, is it right? And on some positions, it is necessary for the moral individual to take a stand that is neither safe, nor politic, nor popular, but he must do it because it is right.